Have you ever wondered where the meanings in your life come from? From the moment you were born, you were enveloped by a vast network of ideas, beliefs, and values. These aren't created in isolation, they are woven into you by the family you were born into, the culture that surrounds you, the society you grow up in, and the symbols and rituals handed down through generations. In every word you hear, every tradition you observe, and every story you are told, there is a hidden architecture of meaning, a matrix that shapes your understanding of the world. Imagine for a moment that you are stepping into a grand hall of mirrors. Each mirror reflects not only your image, but also fragments of your past, your family's whispered beliefs, your community's age-old customs, the myths of your ancestors. These reflections form a tapestry of meaning, seemingly external and unchanging, yet the truth is far more profound. These meanings exist only because someone, somewhere, has given them life. They are not inherent in the mirrors themselves, but arise in the act of reflection, a process of meaning making that is as dynamic and creative as life itself. Let's dive deeper by considering a new parable, a story that may help illuminate this hidden world of meaning. In a faraway land, there was a vast garden known as the Garden of Mirrors. This garden was unlike any other. It was filled with mirrors of every shape and size, arranged among vibrant flowers, ancient trees, and winding pathways. The mirrors were not ordinary, for they did not merely reflect what was in front of them. Instead, they captured the essence of everything around them: the laughter of the children, the solemn prayers of elders, the silent wisdom of the stars above. People came from far and wide to visit this garden. Each visitor saw something unique in the mirrors. One traveler might see the warmth of a long-lost relative, while another might perceive the stern lessons of a difficult past. The garden seemed to hold meanings that transcended time, as though the mirrors were portals into the collective memory of humanity. One day, a curious wanderer entered the garden. As she walked along the winding paths, she noticed that the mirrors did not impose a single, fixed image upon her. Instead, each mirror offered a different interpretation, a myriad of possibilities. At first, she was overwhelmed by the multitude of reflections, each one a symbol of traditions, beliefs, and rituals passed down through generations. But soon she realized something astonishing. The mirrors did not hold meaning on their own. It was her gaze, her interpretation, that brought them to life. In that moment, she understood while the garden was filled with inherited symbols, the true power of meaning lay in the act of seeing. It was not enough to simply observe the mirrors. One had to connect with them, question them, and ultimately create one's own understanding. The garden was a reminder that we are not passive recipients of meaning. Instead, we are active meaning makers, continually shaping the world through our interpretations, our choices, and our inner dialogue. This parable invites us to question the origins of the meanings that define our lives. Our family systems, our cultural traditions, our societal norms, and even our religious and political beliefs are part of the matrix into which we are born. They are accumulated through wisdom and sometimes the unchallenged assumptions of those who came before us. These external symbols can seem so concrete, so real, that we sometimes forget they are, at their core, interpretations. They exist only because we, as meaning makers, have chosen to give them life. Now consider a crucial consequence of this meaning-making process. When we ascribe meaning to something, even unconsciously, We are not merely observing it, we are selecting one interpretation among countless possibilities. In doing so, we effectively delete all the other meanings. What you choose to look for becomes what you find. We take rudimentary sense impressions, what we see, hear, and feel, and transform them into beliefs that act as the constant frame from which we operate. Because meaning does not exist out there in the world, it is an inside job. This realization leads to the profound truth: your meanings are under your control, or at least they can be. As man thinks in his heart, so he is. When you declare that one thing equals another in your mind, you are effectively creating your own subjective reality. Every time you choose a particular meaning, you project that meaning into your universe. The symbols and rituals you inherit, the words and traditions you accept, become the lens through which you experience every moment. And that lens, your unique frame of reference, shapes your reality in ways you might not even be aware of. Now, pause for a moment and let this sink in. Reflect on an area of your life where you've assigned a less than positive meaning, a memory, a recurring challenge, or perhaps a relationship that feels mired in negativity. Ask yourself, is it possible that the meaning you've ascribed to this situation is just one possibility among many? Could there be a more positive, more empowering interpretation waiting to be discovered? What if, instead of thinking, this always happens to me, you wondered, what can this experience teach me? Or rather than feeling trapped by a single narrative of failure, what if you asked, how might this challenge open the door to growth? Perhaps instead of resigning yourself to the belief that you are limited, you could ask, what new possibilities could emerge if I were to reframe this experience? In this gentle, reflective state, allow yourself to explore these alternative questions. Imagine reinterpreting a painful memory not as a definitive judgment of your worth, but as a stepping stone on your journey. Envision transforming an old, limiting belief into a source of insight and strength. Consider for a moment that by simply choosing a different meaning, you could alter the course of your life. Because in truth, what you look for is what you will find. The meanings you adopt act as filters, framing every new experience. And if meaning is an inside job, then you hold the power to change it. The more you ask yourself empowering, open-ended questions, questions that invite possibility rather than reinforce limitation, the more you uncover the hidden potential that lies dormant within you. What might a more positive meaning look like for you? How might you redefine a challenging situation to reveal opportunities for growth? And what new reality could emerge if you choose to see things differently?